In today's episode, I'm going to illustrate how prospering and being successful from a career standpoint bites you in the ass.
Let's talk business. Let's just be real.
I'm gonna move the mic a little bit closer to me today. I feel like this one's gonna be a good one. I just got hit with an issue, little adversity, a little problem. Just got hit with one. I feel like this is gonna be a good one. So I brought the mic in a little bit closer. But anyway, welcome to the Mindsets and Assets podcast, where we reflect on our experiences, hoping that you can understand and relate, give you the motivation that you need to help you along your journey. See, there's a lot of people out here that are suffering in silence, and we hope that they can resonate with us while allowing us to be a voice for them. Now, I try to be transparent because I feel like social media only posts their highlight reels. They don't talk about the struggles and how to overcome, which leads to suffering in silence and in some situations, suicide. I got some stuff to talk about today, and this one right here is off the dome. So, have you ever felt like you can't do anything right? Like, let's go a little bit deeper on that. In today's episode, I'm going to illustrate how prospering and being successful from a career standpoint bites you in the ass. So, I'm going to be seeking opinions from the audience on this one. I just recently dealt with another situation that I'm sure others have dealt with too. So, I'm sure we aren't alone. I feel like people overlook your pain because it doesn't apply to them. So they don't understand how it destroys you on the inside. So something that's simple to them and don't bother them tears you up on the inside. Now, I might get long-winded on this one. So grab a chair, get some water. I started working this job, right? Probably about 7 years ago. And I started out in frontline support. No big deal. I enjoyed it because it gave me the opportunity to learn. This is my second job in the repair industry. I was dedicated. Like, when I say dedicated, I didn't only resolve issues. I was making sure that anything else in relation was good and working too. Like, I paid real close attention to detail for sure. I try to resolve things and make sure that things look exactly how they did before, so there isn't any change in processes. But sometimes I did have to change processes to resolve things. But I could easily spend 2 hours diagnosing an issue with no leads. Then I may have to put in a temporary to permanent workaround. Well, in 2020, I got a promotion. I elevated. The reason this happened was because internet security became a big concern for my boss, being that cyber attacks increased drastically during the pandemic. So he wanted to have an individual to basically focus on that solely. I was one of the employees that were striving to learn everything. One, because I like information. And two, because when my boss travels, he liked to go out of country. I was worried about international calling while trying to fix something. So I felt like I needed to know the infrastructure and operation. And lastly, my daddy instilled in me at a young age to be independent and not to be dependent on someone else or something unless you have to. Now, he didn't mean act arrogant. He just meant to be able to fend for yourself. So when this opportunity arose, he gave me the opportunity. I enjoyed acknowledgement. I enjoyed the opportunity. But what I did not know is the sneak dissing and secret animosity that came from it. Let me tell you what happened. So in 2020, I started to see some frustration come to sight. Now, I understand because we're working from home and I'm being directed by my boss to make changes that my coworkers aren't aware of. So this is making it difficult for them to work and diagnose things. 2021 comes around and we come back into the office. Now, there's still hostility and secret animosity that's being shown as my staff don't know what's going on. They're being hindered by these network changes I'm being forced to implement. So we started having a weekly meeting for information, training, and Q&A. I addressed questions but noticed no retention and still see secret animosity. Now, I dealt with this for a while before I brought this to my boss's attention. Now, this isn't snitching. Things was really starting to get bad and affecting my mental. I went through a phase where I was using outrageous amounts of sick time to avoid being at work. They would cherry pick work and then they would leave the rest for me to do along with the other work I'm being directed to do. They would give people my number directly to basically hand off work, increasing the hell out of my workload, stressing me out because I wasn't meeting deadlines when we all could have just collaborated to resolve issues. So I tell my boss what's going on, and to kill a long story, he's been sympathizing my concerns and telling me he's working on a plan. He's been working on a plan for 2 years. Now, understanding that I'm receiving this secret animosity and everyone claims that there isn't a problem, but clearly there is. Let me explain something to you. I can't do anything right at this job. I will ask my coworkers how would they like to resolve or respond to an incident, and everyone is clueless. So I proceed with whatever I have in mind, and instantly there's a problem with the way I do things. Please make that make sense. So eventually we hired this new dude, and me and him were cool at the beginning, so I thought. Well, we wasn't around each other enough for him to develop a bad taste for me, either because we would be out of the office responding to issues like he would or I would. So we really weren't around each other enough for him to really develop a bad taste. But one thing he would do is tell me about the sneak diss that my coworkers would be doing, because he would get brought into issues not understanding where things stem from. So I took the time to break things down to him like I'm currently doing right now. And his response was, I wish we could all I wish we all could have one big talk and fix things. And so I said, man, I tried, I swear. They say that there isn't a problem. I even called coworker A on the weekend and asked him, is there a problem? And he told me there wasn't a problem, we good, but clearly there's a problem. Now, time goes on about a week, and the new employee does a 180 on me out of nowhere. He develops this hostility towards me, and I literally haven't done anything wrong for him to pull a 180 on me like that. Now, it's more specific detail to the story, but I want to save time to talk about the positive side of the situation. Because one thing I want to emphasize with this movement is to be transparent, authentic, sharing real life experiences that resonate with those that are suffering in silence. But I also want to be able to pull out the positive pieces of it to help the community understand we get beat up mentally, but we try to have a positive mindset about things. And I understand it's difficult as hell. Like I definitely understand. But like I said, we just try to have a positive mindset about things. But moving forward, I'm hoping to elaborate on the positive aspect of this. It doesn't matter how good you do, how much you try to be successful, how much you try to prosper. It's always going to be someone preying on your downfall. Hate to see you winning, because people didn't start hating till I started prospering. I'm not doing anything different than they would want for their kids, being successful, prospering. I told y'all, I try to address the problem to clear the air, but it's not a problem. I tell my boss about it. He's been working on a plan for 2 years. Now, this is not to rag my boss out of anything, but I think he's trying to figure out how to address the situation without hurting people's feelings. But sometimes you just got to you just got to face the elephant in the room sometimes. Now, I don't know if this would make things differ, but I'm the second youngest employee in age on the team. This animosity is coming from the employees late 40s and up. I don't know if they feel like they're being pushed out by the young, eager adults. I mean, we are doing the work that they won't do, but that's a whole nother tree that I don't want to bark up right now. But listen, as stated at the beginning, I am seeking opinions. Did I do something wrong? How would you address this situation? So to recap, I noticed hostility and animosity. I asked if there's a problem. I'm being told there isn't a problem, but Clearly there is. I don't know much more to do. I can't fix nothing within myself if you can't tell me what the problem is. This is why I say haters gonna hate. They didn't hate till I elevated and started prospering. Don't matter how much you try to do, people gonna find a way to beat you down. Try to hold your head up, stay positive. I'm not doing anything different than they would want for their own kid. All right, that's all I got for this one. I'm out.